Welcome to Easy Way for Education. Kite Victors Plus 1 Political Science Class 9, 10, 11, 12 എന്നിവയുടെ അസൈൻമെൻറ്റ് ആൻസേഴ്സ് ആണ് ഇന്ന് ഞാനിവിടെ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Question 1. Distinguish between fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. Fundamental rights. First point. These are negative as they prohibited the state from doing certain things. Second point, these are justiciable, that is, they are legally enforceable by the courts in case of their violation. Directive principles. First point, these are positive as they require the state to do certain things. Second point, these are not justiciable, that is, they are not legally enforceable by the courts in case of their violation. Third point, they aim at establishing political democracy in the country. Fourth point, these have legal sanctions. Directive principles. Third point, they aim at establishing social and economic democracy in the country. Fourth point, these have moral and political sanctions. Fundamental rights. Fifth point, they promote the welfare of the individual. Hence, they are personal and individualistic. Sixth point, they do not require any legislation of their implementation. They are automatically enforced. Directive principle. Fifth point, they promote the welfare of the community. Hence, they are so societarian and socialistic. Sixth point, they require legislation for their implementation. They are not automatically. Second question. List out the fundamental duties in our Constitution. Answer. According to Article 51A, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideas and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspired the national struggle for freedom, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, to defend the country and render national service when called up to do so, to promote harmony and the spirit of the common brotherhood amongst all people of India, transcending religious, linguistic and regional or sectional diversities, and to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, to value and preserve the rich heritage of country's composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environment including forest, lakes, river and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures, to develop scientific temper, humanism and the spirit of the inquiry and reform, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievements, and to provide opportunities for education to his child or ward between the age of 6 and 14 years. This duty was added by the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002. Next, class 10 in the assignment answers. Question. Prepare a chart showing the differences between the first past the post system and the proportional representation. FPTP. The country is divided into small geographical units called constituencies or districts. Every constituency elects one representative. Voter votes for a candidate. PR. Large geographical areas are demarcated and constituencies. The entire country may be a single constituency. More than one representative may be elected from one constituency. Voter votes for the party. FPTP. A party may get more seats than votes in the legislature. Candidate who wins the election may not get majority votes. Examples: UK, India. PR. Every party gets seats in legislature in proportion to the percentage of votes that it gets. Candidate who wins the election gets majority of votes. Examples: Israel, Netherlands. Next, class 11, the assignment answers. Question: why is India adopted the first past the past system? First point, its simplicity. It is extremely simple to understand even for common voters. Second point, provides a clear choice to the voters. They can vote by choosing a candidate or a party or both. Third point, voters know who is their own representative. It could ensure their accountability or representatives. Fourth point, it may be more suitable for giving a stable government in a parliamentary system. A parliamentary system requires that the executive has majority in the legislature. In a parliamentary system, majority is required in the legislative to form the government. The executive is required to maintain its majority in the legislature to complete its term. PR system may not produce a clear majority because seats in the legislature would be divided on the basis of share of votes. But FPTP system generally gives the largest party or coalition some extra bonus seats. It facilitates the smooth functioning of a parliamentary government. It may be more suitable in subcontinental country like India. FPTP system encourages voters from different social groups to come together to win an election in a locality. In a diverse country like India, APR system would encourage each community to form its own nationwide party. Normally, the working of FPTP system results in a two-party system. Next, class 12 in the assignment answers. Question: what are the major functions of Election Commission of India? First point, it supervises the preparation of up-to-date voters list. Second point, it also determines the timing of elections and prepares the election schedule. The election schedule includes the notification of elections, date from which nominations can be filled, last date for filling nominations, last date for scrutiny, last date for withdrawal, date of polling and date of counting and declaration of results. Third point, the Election Commission has the power to take decision to ensure a free and fair poll. The Election Commission can implement model code of conduct for parties and candidates. It can order a re-poll in a specific constituency. It can postpone or cancel the election in the entire country or a specific state or a constituency on the ground that free and fair conduct of election is interpreted. Fourth point, the Election Commission accords recognition to the political parties and allots its symbols to each of them and to independent candidates. Fifth point, it performs the scrutiny of election expenses of candidates. Sixth point, Election Commission advises the President in matters of disqualification of MPs or MLAs. Seventh point, the Commission should give its annual report to the President of India. The Election Commission has very limited staff of its. It conducts the election with the help of administrative machinery. It can take action against those who fail to act in a non-partisan manner. ഇത്രയേ ഉള്ളൂ ഇന്നത്തെ വീഡിയോ. പിന്നെ ഈ വീഡിയോ ഇഷ്ടമായാൽ ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യാനും സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാനും കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനും മറക്കരുത്. പിന്നെ ഈ വീഡിയോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് യൂസ്ഫുൾ ആയാൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സുമായി ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാനും മറക്കരുത്. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.